in favour.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable members, I now call on Members' Order of the Day number 4.
Shop Trading Hours Act Repeal, Waitaki Easter Trading Amendment Bill.
Now for something really important.
Mr Speaker.
I call the Honourable Member Jackie Dean.
Mr Speaker, I move that the Shop Trading Hours Act Repeal, Waitaki Easter Trading Amendment Bill be now read a first time. And Mr Speaker, I nominate the Commerce Committee to consider this bill should by some miracle it makes it through the first reading. Mr Speaker. Amendments to the Shop Trading Hours Act have been controversial since, indeed, the Shop Trading Hours Act Repeal Act of 1990, which removed trading restrictions except for Christmas Day, for Good Friday, Easter Sunday and before 1 p.m. on Anzac Day. Exemptions were provided for shops selling certain types of goods, as well as for shops in specified places. However, there is now no legislative ability to grant further exemptions, and that's the problem. Easter trading is just such a contentious issue, and any proposed change always gives rise to questions about how to strike a balance between the interests of businesses, the interests of employees, alongside public recognition of religious activities. The intention of this bill, the Waitaki Bill, is to provide the balance between choice for employers to conduct business, protections for employees, and of course, community interest. Mr Speaker, this is a member's bill because this is a member's day. This is Waitaki electorate's bill, just trying to fix an anomaly which exists between Queenstown and Wanaka, where Queenstown can open over Easter, but Wanaka can't. It is, however, not a local bill, so it is not confined to Queenstown and Wanaka, and that is because it had to be a member's bill, and so I have chosen to make this the Waitaki District Council Bill. So there's a secondary benefit contained within this bill, not only to overcome the anomaly that exists between Queenstown and Wanaka, two important tourism centres for the New Zealand economy, but there's a secondary benefit there because there are shops in other local authority areas contained within the Waitaki electorate who could also open if they chose over Easter. So maybe Geraldine might choose to open over Easter, that is the retailers in Geraldine, because it is on a major tourist route. Maybe in Oamaru there are shops that may choose to open and trade over Easter because that's on an emerging and developing tourism route. Hey, maybe Cromwell. In fact, I'm sure there are businesses in Cromwell who would choose to open over Easter if they had the ability to do so. And I could go through all the tourist towns in my electorate and name them, and there are many who, indeed, if this bill passed, might choose to open over Easter if they had the ability to do so. Mr Speaker, I bring this issue to Parliament because the Wanaka retailers have asked me to do it. This is not, and the member opposite says, so what? And I think maybe that speaks volumes about, maybe that speaks volumes about why this amendment should go through. And this amendment should go through because actually commerce over Easter is very important to towns like Wanaka. And I'll tell that member why, who lives somewhere in the North Island if I'm correct. So Wanaka over Easter is the most marvellous place. Every second year we host Warbirds over Wanaka. And so, evidence, thank you, the member, the Delta opposite is asking me for the evidence. So if he does me the courtesy of listening, I will tell him. Because every second year in Wanaka, we have warbirds over Wanaka, where up to 100,000 people descend on central Otago, so that's Wanaka, Queenstown, Cromwell, Alexandra, even Ranfurly, to attend warbirds over Wanaka. So that's 100,000 people in the region, up to, and that is a figure which has been supplied to me. Those people are in central Otago for up to 4 or 5 days. Those up to 100,000 extra people in that region want to shop. How do I know they want to shop? Because the retailers tell me that it is so worth their while opening that they are prepared to do so in the face of flouting the law, and have done so over a number of years. And why are they prepared to open over Easter? Because they need that trade. They need that trade to see them through the lean times which all retailers have to face. So that is why I am extremely happy to bring this to the House. And it is beyond me why the members opposite are so against a retailer making a living. What is it? What is it about a retailer making a living? So I'm just going to read to the House, with the indulgence of the Speaker, a submission from a previous Mayor of Queenstown Lakes District Council, Clive Geddes, who said in 2006, Queenstown has had a general exemption from the restrictions on trading at Easter and at other times over many years. This reflects our position as an international destination where visitors and residents alike can enjoy many activities and events which would otherwise be stifled by greater restrictions. We receive no complaints about the flexibility that this offers business and the community, and it is exercised responsibly by all of the parties involved. That is the previous Mayor for the Queenstown Lakes District Council, and if a Mayor isn't in touch with his community, then well, of course the Mayor is in touch with his community. Mr. Speaker, I acknowledge that there are reservations and objections to Easter trading, and I'm going to go over a few of those. There is, and of course this is something like the 11th or 12th time this issue has been brought to the House, there is religious objection to liberalisation of Easter trading. I respect that position. I utterly respect the position of Christians and people from other religions who choose to celebrate the very nature of Easter. Of course I do. But while I respect that position, I also say that nobody is choosing anybody to shop. Nobody is forcing anybody to shop. And so it is a matter of choice what one does on Easter. If one has a very strongly held religious conviction, that is up to the individual. Mr. Speaker, I also hear of family objections to Easter trading, and I would note that there are already 11 public holidays in New Zealand, 4 weeks annual leave, prorated, and so I would argue that there is plenty of time for people to spend with their families. I want to talk about worker protections. While this bill is imperfect and silent on worker protections, I want to tell the House this. This bill, should it get to Select Committee, and I welcome the opportunity for it to do so, because I think that would give the Commerce Select Committee the opportunity to talk seriously and in a considered way about worker protections. And these are my bottom lines. Employees in shops opening to trade on Easter Sunday would have the absolute right to refuse to work on that day. An employee's agreement to work on that day, if that was not given, there would be no penalty on that worker. Where employers wish to trade on Easter Sunday, they would be required to give employees reasonable notice to that employee. And the final point I would make in this contribution, actually, that in Wanaka, most of the people working in shops over Easter are there because they want to work. Generally, they are You see, there's the problem. The opposition don't actually like work. They don't acknowledge that workers enjoy working because, do you know what? In Wanaka, people go to work because then they get to play on the ski fields and they get to enjoy everything that Wanaka has to offer. Mr. Speaker, I will have another opportunity to make another contribution to this debate, but I certainly encourage members to look at this bill with an open mind. Thank you.
I call the honourable member